なんでかわかるか。
Every legendary anime has that moment, a final earth-shaking battle that everything has been leading up to. A fight that doesn't just end the story, it defines it. These are more than just fights. They're where ideals collide, where lifelong rivalries finally boil over, and where heroes and villains become immortalized as legends. They are the emotional exclamation point at the end of a grand saga, and the ultimate test of a hero's strength, conviction, and spirit. Today I'm counting down my top 10 most epic final boss fights in anime history. And so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my anime lounge. Kicking off the list is the cataclysmic climax to a modern shonen epic. This isn't a top 10 anime ranking, it's just final boss battles. Relax, folks. And I would be a fool to ignore the impact and journey my hero took the anime community on, leading us to the final showdown between the villains and heroes. The final battle between Deku and Shigaraki is not just a fight, it's a nationwide war that pits the hopeful legacy of one for all against the all-consuming despair for all for one. Fuck All For One. Shigaraki was the actual final boss in this show. Like, All For One may have been the mastermind, but Shigaraki was the one that put in the work. As soon as he got that upgrade, it was up. From season, I think the later half of season 5, when they established the Villain Academia, from that all the way through season 8, they were putting belt to the heroes. They couldn't do anything with him. Bodies were dropping, and the only way they were able to even fight him was to shut off his quirk. And even then, they could not stop him. I respect Shigaraki as the final boss more than All For One, who just waited in the shadows and jumped in when the time was beneficial. So this is about Shigaraki. This isn't about a simple villain. It's about the collision of two individuals who are tragic mirror images of each other. Shigaraki, once a boy named Tenko, who dreamed of being a hero, was failed by society and groomed into a living instrument of destruction. His goal is not conquest, but total annihilation, to erase the world that caused him so much pain. The fight is the centerpiece of the final war saga, an apocalyptic conflict where countless heroes combine their strength just to slow Shigaraki down. Now a near immortal being with godlike decay quirk, he is a walking disaster. Yet the true epicness of this battle comes from its heart. Deku, seeing the crying child still inside the monster, isn't just trying to defeat Shigaraki, he's trying to save him. This transforms the battle from a physical slugfest into a desperate struggle for a single lost soul. It's a gut-wrenching high-stakes war that perfectly encapsulates the series' core theme, what it truly means to be a hero in a world that creates its own villains. Coming in at number 9 is a brutal two-part finale born from holy war, bitter rivalry, and shocking betrayal in Hellsing Ultimate. During the apocalyptic battle for London, the Vampire King Alucard is forced to confront two of the only men who could ever be considered his rivals. This isn't one clean duel, but a bloody gauntlet that serves as the story's chaotic, emotional, and violent crescendo. First is the final battle between Alucard and Alexander Anderson, his arch nemesis from the Iscariot organization. Their long-standing feud culminates in a clash of monsters. To finally destroy Alucard, Anderson impales himself with Helena's nail. if I said that correctly. A holy relic that transformed him into a monster of God, a living thicket of thorns and divine power. The fight is a spectacle of religious fury, but Alucard is enraged, believing Anderson has thrown away his humanity, the very thing that made him a worthy opponent. The second act begins moments after Anderson's defeat with the shocking betrayal of Walter, Helsing's most loyal servant. Not anymore. Having made a deal with the enemy, a rejuvenated, vampirized Walter appears to fulfill his lifelong obsession to surpass and destroy Alucard. This fight is pure tragedy. A duel between former allies that ends with Walter's body and pride crumbling from his flawed transformation. It's a poignant and savage conclusion, cementing the series' theme that true monstrosity is often a human choice. The number 8 spot goes to a battle that isn't about saving the world, but saving a single treasured soul. The final duel between Yugi Muto and the spirit of Pharaoh Atem is the emotional climax of the entire Yu-Gi-Oh series. This isn't a fight against a villain, it's a sacred ceremonial battle to determine if Atem can finally pass on to the afterlife. The catch: to be set free, the proud, undefeated Pharaoh must be defeated in a duel. And the only one who can do it is the person who knows him best, his other half, Yugi. What makes this duel so legendary is the unbearable emotional weight behind every move. You know this is the last one. You know one of them has to lose. It's a heartbreaking farewell and a graduation ceremony all in one. For years, Yugi relied on the Pharaoh's strength and confidence. Now he has to prove he can stand on his own by defeating his mentor and his best friend. The duel is a masterclass in strategy, with both duelists predicting the other's moves. Atem summons all 3 of his seemingly invincible Egyptian god cards, but Yugi, in a brilliant display of growth, manages to destroy them all in a single turn. It was so crazy. The defining moment comes at the very end. Atem attempts to revive his most powerful god card, but Yugi negates the move, having predicted the exact play Atem would make. It's a victory born from love and an unbreakable bond, and a bittersweet checkmate that proves the student has finally surpassed the master. P.S. My favorite deck is the King of Skull Servants. For the 7th entry is a final battle famous for its brutality and sheer heartbreaking cost of victory. It went down in this bitch. The finale of Akame Got Killed isn't a clean one-on-one. It's the bloody climax of a revolution where almost no one is safe. After watching their friends die one by one, Night Rage stages its final assault on the capital, leading to a showdown between the revolution's finest assassin, Akame, and the Empire's strongest, most sadistic, alluring, sexy. I wish that was me she was licking on in the bedroom. Woo, everyone's favorite girl. As Death. This final arc is pure carnage, a testament to the show's dark tone. Victory requires unthinkable sacrifices. Mine pushes her Imperial Arms pumpkin past its absolute limit to defeat General Budo, dying in Tatsumi's arms right after confessing her love. The protagonist, the dude you think is like gonna make it, the main guy, Tatsumi, sacrifices himself to stop the Emperor's rampaging mech, saving civilians but getting crushed in the process. Still one of the most shocking deaths in anime to me. And Leon, after surviving long enough to brutally kill the corrupt prime minister, succumbs to her wounds and bleeds out alone in an alley. It's a bloodbath that leaves Akame as the last one standing to face as Death. The final duel is a masterclass in speed versus power, culminating in Akame using her Blade's trump card to gain the power needed to overcome As Death's time-freezing ability. As Death accepts her defeat, and in a final twisted act of love, encases her own body and the deceased Tatsumi in ice, shattering them both into dust. It's an epic but devastatingly tragic conclusion, where victory feels almost as bitter as defeat. At number 6 is arguably the most tragic and morally complex battle in modern anime. In Attack on Titan, the lines between hero and villain shatter completely. The final enemy isn't some external monster. It's the series protagonist, Eren Yeager. After initiating the Rumbling, a global genocide aimed at wiping out all of life outside his island, Eren becomes the very thing he swore to destroy. His former comrades in the Survey Corps are forced to make an unthinkable choice: kill their friend to save the world. This isn't a battle for glory. It's a desperate, sanity-shattering act of betrayal, born from love. The scale is apocalyptic. The Survey Corps, armed with ODM gear, are like gnats trying to take down a god, battling Eren's colossal founding titan and an army of titans from ages past. Every moment is fraught with emotional agony. Mikasa has to fight the man she loves. Armin has to strategize against his best friend, and Levi has to fulfill a long-held promise. It's a gut-wrenching spectacle of impossible choices. This battle recontextualizes the entire series, a story of survival into a tragedy about the cycle of hatred and the terrible price of freedom. About to hit y'all in the fields with this one. Now, my knowledge of Pokemon caps here. I know it technically isn't the final boss of Pokemon, and they had even crazier creatures, but for me, this had me believing Mewtwo was at the top of the Poke food chain, and there was nothing anyone could do about it. This movie had me crying, thinking he was about to murk all the Pokemon. He felt like the very first major final Pokemon boss. So, breaking into the top 5 is a battle that defined a generation and delivered a surprisingly heavy philosophical punch. In Pokemon, the first movie, the confrontation with Mewtwo isn't about winning a league. It's a clash between a genetically engineered super being filled with an existential rage and the simple heart of a boy and his Pokemon. Mewtwo, created to be the ultimate weapon, declares war on humanity and the inferior Pokemon who serve them. What makes this fight so epic is its brutal, joyless nature. Mewtwo forces cloned Pokemon to fight their originals to prove which is superior. There is no flashy strategies, just raw, painful conflict that drives home the futility of it all. The real battle is ideological. Mewtwo's belief that strength and origin define worth versus Ash's unwavering belief in friendship. The defining moment isn't a powerful attack, but an act of pure sacrifice. As the battle between Mew and Mewtwo rages, and the heartbroken Pikachu refuses to fight his clone, Ash has seen enough. He runs into the crossfire of their psychic blast, screaming for them to stop, and is turned into stone. His selfless act silences the entire battlefield. The sight of his sacrifice moves every Pokemon, clone and original, to tears. And their combined sorrow miraculously brings him back to life. It's a victory won not through power, but through compassion, proving to Mewtwo that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. Yes, sir. Not the first time you're going to see Dragon Ball on this list, but coming in at number 4 is the controversial... That ain't how you say that, is it? Coming in at number 4 is the controversial but unforgettable final battle from Dragon Ball GT. I like the GT. I have no clue where all the discourse about it being trash came from, but look at all the iconic shit we got from it. Super Android 17, Super Saiyan 4, that baby saga with baby Vegeta went crazy, and all the different shadow dragons. Anyway, this showdown is the ultimate consequence of the hero's reliance on the Dragon Balls. The overuse of wishes unleashes 7 shadow dragons, beings of pure negative energy, with the final and most powerful being Sin Shenron. But then he absorbs the other 6 Dragon Balls to become Omega Shenron, a near invincible god of destruction. The fight is pure desperation. Omega Shenron is so powerful that even Super Saiyan 4 Goku can't beat him. This forces Goku and Vegeta to pull out their trump card, the Fusion Dance. This leads to the legendary debut of Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, a warrior so overwhelmingly powerful and cocky that he completely toys with Omega Shenron, but his arrogance proves to be their downfall. The Fusion's immense power shortens the time limit, and they defuse before landing the final blow. With all options exhausted, it comes down to a battered, child-formed Goku to save the day. The climax is one of the most emotional moments in the franchise, the Universal Spirit Bomb. Goku gathers energy from every living being across the entire universe, creating a massive sphere of positive energy that finally obliterates Omega Shenron, cleansing the cosmos of his negative influence and providing a final, definitive end to Goku's GT journey. Taking the bronze medal, we're blasting off from personal vendettas and heading into the cosmos for a battle of truly galactic proportions. The final battle between Simon and the Anti-Spiral in Gurren Lagann is all about sheer, unadulterated escalation. The enemy isn't a person or an army. It's a cosmic entity representing despair and suppression. And Team Goren's response? To fight back with a mech powered by pure burning passion. This isn't just a fight. It's an explosion of spirit. The scale is so absurdly massive that it becomes beautiful. We see mechs the size of galaxies throwing entire universes at each other like they're nothing. It is the ultimate embodiment of the show's central theme, to kick reason to the curb and go beyond the impossible. The defining moment is when, stripped of their godlike mech, Simon engages the Anti-Spiral in a bare-knuckle brawl. A man fighting a concept. It's a beautiful, heart-pounding sequence that proves humanity's strength isn't in the size of its robots, but its indomitable will to live. It's a fight fueled by love, hope, and the courage to drill through the heavens. Now, this one was tough, simply because there are many options to choose from DBZ, but it ultimately boiled down between Goku versus Frieza or the showdown with Cell. But what ultimately pushed Cell's fight was seeing them go from having a chance while dealing with imperfect and semi-perfect Cell to being completely powerless against perfect Cell. And on top of all of that, you have Goku, our strongest soldier, outright say, "Hey, I can't beat this guy."
Whoa, you want to run that by me again?
And this was all after seeing the androids wreak havoc just to turn around and be just as scared as everyone else, with Cell attempting to reach his final form. Anyway, the runner-up is a fight that defined a generation and set a new standard for shonen power-ups. The battle between a reluctant Gohan and the arrogant perfect Cell is a fan favorite for a reason. The fate of the world hangs in a balance at a tournament designed by a villain at the peak of his smug perfection. Even Goku admits he can't defeat Cell and bets everything on black. He bets everything on his son's hidden potential. This is a story about legacy and passing the torch. Gohan, a gentle soul who hates fighting, is pushed to his breaking point. The turning point is one of the most iconic scenes in anime history. the peaceful android 16 gives Gohan a final heartfelt speech before Cell mercilessly crushes his head. That's the snap. Gohan's grief and rage erupt, unlocking the legendary Super Saiyan 2. The fight's tone shifts immediately. Gohan doesn't just defeat Cell, he dominates him with the cold efficiency that is both awe-inspiring and terrifying. The climax? The legendary father-son Kamehameha, where Goku's spirit appears aside Gohan to help him overwhelm Cell's final blast, is pure, unadulterated hype.
What adult would go full force when fighting mere children? But anyway, are you finished now?
Oh yeah. And at the #1 spot, of course, we have a battle that is less a single fight and more of a world-ending war against a god. Y'all should already know by now that my favorite anime of all time is indeed Naruto. So yes, there is some favoritism here. For much of Naruto Shippuden's final act, the true final boss isn't one man, but the legendary ghost of the Uchiha, Madara. Resurrected and more powerful than he was in his prime, Madara is a walking Madara is a walking catastrophe who single-handedly takes on the entire world. He didn't just show up to fight the protagonist like your usual final boss. He showed up and fought everybody. Madara was always the final boss to me. Everything was leading to him. And I know Kaguya shows up, but to me she's more so like the New Game Plus secret boss, while Madara was the base game regular boss. I really enjoyed his fight more as well. The entire war was predicated on his name. It even had stages. Madara arrives on the battlefield and the entire war completely shifts. He effortlessly dismantles an entire division of the Shinobi army. Then he faces the 5 highest ranking of 5 of the strongest ninja, the Kage, and treats them like children, asking if they prefer his clones to use Susanoo or not before utterly defeating them. The most iconic moment of his power comes from when he summons a gargantuan meteor from outer space, an act so devastating it requires the combined efforts of 2 Kages just to slow it down, only for him to reveal that he was dropping a second one on top of it. Then he goes and joins Obito and fights the main force consisting of our main characters with Naruto, Kakashi, Guy, B, etc. And the only thing that really saved them there was Sasuke pulling up with the Orochimaru, who had resurrected the first 4 Hokages. And Madara completely ditches the fight to go and confront the only man he ever cared about, Hashirama. He then sacrifices Obito to resurrect himself and becomes the host of the Ten Tails, basically becoming a god on the battlefield. But then the fight's most defining moment comes from humanity's response. To combat a god, Might Guy opens the 8th gate of death, sacrificing his own life to unleash a final sublime display of power. In this form, he overwhelms Madara to the point where the villain himself declares Guy the strongest taijutsu user he has ever faced. It's a fight that demonstrates the heights of despair and the burning indomitable will to fight back no matter the cost. So we had the first stage fighting the army, the next stage he fights the Kages, then he fights the main team, resurrects himself, fights with no eyes, and the final stage regains both eyes and actually succeeds in his plan in activating the Eye of the Moon, the only thing that saved the ninja world was Sasuke covering Naruto and the team, because he was the only one who was unaffected by the infinite Tsukuyomi with his Rinne Sharingan. So he low-key is the actual savior of the ninja world. Next time y'all be making them think pieces about, oh, Sasuke is just an emo edgelord, remember that. Remember who the real savior was.
Goddamn right.
But Madara was really my most anticipated boss fight in anime. He had all the hype, the build, the story and aura, and went on to become part of anime history. Yeah. And there you have it, folks. There's my list of top final boss battles in anime. Now there are a plethora of epic and iconic final battles out there in anime, but I am one man. I haven't seen them all yet. Hell, there's probably some I've seen but forgot about over the time. I was trying to remember if Inuyasha and his brother ever had a showdown. I haven't watched that in years, but I'm sure there was probably some crazy fight with them. Same thing with Yu Yu Hakusho. And you know, y'all get the gist. I could probably do another one with the new gen animes, but that's enough of my yapping. Now it's your turn. Was my list valid? Did I hit some home runs? Was it a trash list? What epic showdowns am I missing out on? As a matter of fact, comment below your final boss fights in anime. I would love to see them. Hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. It really helps me out. Join the lounge and grab yourself a seat. Share with your friends or anyone who loves anime like us.
Tell your friends about me.
I appreciate you all for watching. And as we always do when we close out, let's all raise a glass in the air. Here's to anime.
I want to have intercourse with you. Ooh, yeah, intercourse with you.
Hey, you don't have to leave just yet. If you still want to chill, click on one of these videos and the lounge will stay open for you.